Welcome back to Talking Shop. I am your host, Brandon Bombardo. Today, we're going to talk about something every business owner faces at some point or another, right? That's navigating uncertain times while keeping your shop moving, your team motivated, and your confidence intact, right? Fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's, supply chain disruptions that you've dealt with, rising material costs, which we've all seen, labor shortages because nobody wants to work, or your unexpected market shifts. Uncertainty is part of running a business, especially here in 2025 and beyond. I don't think that's ever going to change. But the truth is, uncertainty doesn't have to paralyze you or your business. It doesn't have to freeze your decision making. And in my opinion, businesses that thrive in uncertain times are the ones that typically stay productive, they stay confident, and they stay proactive, which is a lot of times why they survive uncertain times. But today we're going to break down how to manage uncertainty, how to prioritize your energy, and how to turn some of these challenges into opportunities for growth, which is something we like to talk about on this show. First, though, I'm going to introduce you to co-host and friend, Nick Peters.
Wow. So did my sad reaction last week make you want to be nice this week or what?
Yeah.
It's like the nicest thing you've ever said
I
in
know.
this whole thing.
I actually was writing something out and I'm like, I'm going to go nice this
I'm
week.
going to be nice this
See
time.
if it throws him off.
Jeez, 237 episodes later. He's finally nice.
I was going to introduce you as Mickey Mouse.
I know one thing for certain.
What?
You know what they always say? If you walk far enough, you'll be in a different place.
You're so dumb. I was going to call him Mickey Mouse, you guys, because he's had uncontrollable
What song does that make you think of when I say that?
It doesn't.
And I would walk 5,000 miles?
I would.
And then I would walk 5,000 more?
That's true.
Just to be the man who walked 1,000? Wait, that math didn't math. But
The
whatever.
math didn't math.
No, it's 500 miles.
Anyways, the hiccup king over here is off on a tangent.
It's not going to happen today.
It's going to happen.
No, it's not.
When he starts having hiccups, we're going to all celebrate.
All?
Everybody in this room. Including you.
Alex, the guy behind the camera.
Yeah. Hi, Alex. Anyways, let's break this down. We're going to break down how to identify whether you're just spinning your wheels, how to shift towards true productivity. I know we talked about productivity last week's episode, and the difference between productive and being busy. And we're going to talk about how real businesses have transformed themselves by thinking smarter and not just working harder. We always hear this statement, work smarter, not harder. And this is kind of the real world version of that, because there's a way to accomplish things even when you're not sure how to accomplish things.
You'll always give us the answers, right?
Always give us the answers.
Yes. I got some questions.
No, you don't.
3 of them to be exact.
Okay.
Maybe like 2 questions in a statement. I don't know. We'll
Okay.
figure it out. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Did you bring your thinking cap?
I brought my thinking cap. Well,
Perfect.
much of it I got.
How many sizes smaller did you have to make your hat once you lost all your hair?
One.
All right. That wasn't as funny as I thought it might be.
It's true, though. I had to make my helmet and hockey smaller, too.
The best, though, is when you wear like the mesh hats and then you have like all sorts of like sunburn dots on your head.
You get the sunburn dots all over. Oh, it's the worst.
You don't have to worry about that for about 6 months now in this
Right.
place.
It's got cold now.
Oh, this place sucks. It's going to be 60 this week, though, so we'll be fine.
This place sucks. Well, okay.
Remember when we were going to do the podcast from the roof?
I do remember that.
We never did it.
We never did that. It's probably better.
Oh.
You'd probably push
maybe,
me off the
maybe
roof.
next summer. I would never do that. I'm nice to you all the time.
True.
Oh, we agreed.
We agree to disagree.
Took us 3 years, but we finally got there.
There it is.
All right. Question number 1.
Yeah.
Any tips for what to do once cuts have been made and there isn't much surface area for the vacuum to suck? The work Let's start over. Any tips for what to do once cuts have been made and there isn't much surface area for the vacuum to suck the work pieces down and they want to shift and move?
Yeah. I'm glad you reread that, because
I didn't
the first time I was
there was not enough
confused.
pronunciation.
Yeah, I was confused the first time. Really for me, when you deal with small parts, a lot of times small part hold down is where people struggle the most, because they think it's just turn the vacuum on and let it go. And the reality is small parts, there's no secret to it. It's just science. Like air is going to your parts and they're going to go to the area of least resistance first. And so therefore, when you have small parts, there's more area of exposure than there is actual part remaining. And so naturally, air goes around your part. And when it does that, it doesn't hold your part down. So the recommendation at that point would be to create like a fixture, something that's going to hold the part in place, and focus the airflow towards the remaining surface. And so when people hear fixture, they think like something holding the part physically, like a clamp. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something like a vacuum fixture. And a lot of times you can do that through gasketing, right? Because vacuum is simply science in practice. And so therefore you have to get the force to the part to secure it. And gaskets are a huge advantage to doing so. And so specifically, I like to use the All-Star gaskets. All-Star makes a mat, which is pretty cool. And they did a great video on this recently. So if you haven't checked it out, on their LinkedIn page is where you can see it. Actually go to ShopSabre's website, ShopSabre's LinkedIn page, and follow us, and then check out the video because I shared it. But they did a great video on cutting little pumpkins out. And obviously in a normal circumstance, the pumpkins are such little surface area that they would have just went flying. But they're using their ShopSabre because they own a ShopSabre. So thank you, All-Star. But they are using their ShopSabre and the combination of their mat to create these. The first thing they do is they cut the negative of the part.
Yep.
Then they put the material up there, turn the vacuum on, and then they cut their parts. And so it demonstrates this entire process works really slick.
It's a fascinating tool. I remember when they were here and were showing us how they worked, and it was pretty crazy how the difference in hold down worked.
They're awesome guys. Yeah. Like I said, I think a lot of people they kind of underutilize their vacuum tables. They just pure strength, right? I'm just going to put air to it and it'll be fine. But like you can be so efficient with vacuum if you just think your way through some of the processes.
Right.
So,
number 2.
Yep.
Cutting 20 plus sheets of 3/4 inch video. Easy money.
Easy money. That's a statement. I like that one.
That's what I say every time I play Chad in golf.
Easy money. I like it. Yeah, I love the approach though. I think letting machinery automate your process is a good way to generate more revenue. I mean, obviously it's much easier to do it that way than to manually handle the material. I don't want to do that. Like I'll lose my hand if I try to manually cut things. But I don't know, rather than easy money, would you call it smart money?
For sure.
Right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
easy money is one thing, but smart money is the other. And I think to me, CNC automation is smart money. So, but I like it. Easy money
is smart money.
I think I'm going to make a Google ad that just says easy money. That's trademarked.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm going to.
Like easy money and then just have yourself throwing a big fat stack of cash
stack of cash in there.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, sure.
Unband a couple stacks and just...
I'm going to put a picture of you on there on the Google ad. That's going to be like easy money.
Funny. Number 3.
Yeah.
Looks like single pass, but without sharing bit, feeds, and speeds. This is showing off without being helpful.
Okay.
Well,
I respect the comment. Though I'm just gonna be honest. Sometimes we truly are just showing off with no other intent. Like if our customers do something cool, we show off.
Right.
Like we share it.
Well, they don't always say what. I mean,
that's what I was just gonna say.
Videos, right?
Yeah, like we post videos that are shared with us. So when our customers share a video with us, we promote them, and just as they promote us, right? It doesn't always mean that we have something more to say. Like there isn't always information more than that, right? We don't have the details on what they were using. I think we generally try to share those details when they are shared with us. But one thing that I can say is we always share the company that actually posted it, or 99% of the time. I know sometimes we mess that up, but we always try to give a shout out to the person who shared it with us. Absolutely. And so you can always ask them, like you can reach out to that person, because I'm going to guess on this video, their name was associated and you could find out the information. So
absolutely.
Perfect. Easy money.
Easy money.
There we go.
Alex,
I liked your
Alex was going to add the money flying off.
I liked your hand signals there. That was good.
That's all I got.
Oh, that's all you got. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that would make sense. You said 2 in a comment. That was 2 in a comment.
And a joke.
And a joke. A poor one at that.
Come on. It's true.
Let's talk about understanding the uncertainty, okay? Let's get on task here. Understanding uncertainty in today's market is what I want to talk about. What do you know about it?
There's always uncertainty.
There's always uncertainty.
But you can always make sense of it.
Yeah. I think,
right?
Yeah, I mean, I think
that's what they always say.
That's fair. I mean, I think global supply chains are unpredictable. I know that to be true.
Well, I mean, anything that you're relying on outside of what's in your shop, right?
Right.
I mean,
Like, I just think when you think about materials, right? We've gone through, like, I think back, like, for one, can you believe it's been 5 years since COVID?
no,
Like, it's crazy.
I can't believe it's coming up on 3 years that I've been working here.
I can't either.
It's almost my birthday too.
Oh, I know.
You're going to be gone.
I know. Can't wait.
Thanks a lot.
I took that day off on purpose,
Appreciate it.
so I didn't celebrate.
Rather spend time with your kids. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think the global supply chain, and the reason I brought up COVID is because, like, I just think about that, like the materials and how you couldn't get materials, right?
Right.
And then you think about shipping, and you remember when we dealt with all the boats or the ships floating around and couldn't get unloaded. Remember,
Yep.
we dealt with that, and then think about the cost fluctuation. Why can I not say that word? Fluctuation. Why couldn't I say that?
I don't know.
Anyways, you think about all of those things, and it's like all those are different, like, periods of time that we dealt with. So global supply chain is always an unpredictable thing.
I mean, even nowadays, right?
Right.
I mean, we even kind of deal with it it's kind of on a different level, but you get to the end of the months and end of quarters, it's a little tougher to find trucks to ship our machines, right? So it's the same type of thing. There's still a demand for that to happen at the end of the month, and it's a struggle to find it, just like it is for people to get products for their shop at certain times, right?
Well, yeah, and then you said it yourself, like demand. Like customer demand can spike up, right? Or drop off unexpectedly depending on what's going on. And if we've heard it for customers, like, man, we're going crazy right now. We can't keep up. Like, that wasn't the case earlier this year.
For sure.
We're hearing from people everywhere that they're super busy. And, like, obviously depending on the economy and local factors, there's things that cause you to either have demand or not have demand, right? And so I think when you start to think about the things like the labor market, we talked about that earlier, I mentioned how you can't find labor. Like, the labor market's competitive. Like, good talent's hard to find. So hiring the right team is harder than ever. And so a lot of people are switching to automation and switching to, non-human elements.
Yep.
And so, like, I think when you start to think from that standpoint, it's like businesses often respond to uncertain times by freezing.
Right, and feeling like they have no other choice but to stop and wait and hold on.
Like, they react. The thing I think is the worst for business is when you react emotionally rather than strategically.
Right, like take a minute and step back from it and look at it realistically.
Oh, I used to do it, and I still do it. I mean, I try to be better at it in today's world. Like, if I'm honest, like, I used to be really bad, like, allowing my emotion to control feeling, right? But now I've gotten better at, like, just reacting that way. It never ends favorably. So it's like, just take a step back, realize, like, let's take a look at everything and then let's make our decision, right? So I think the first step to thriving is to understand the uncertainty is normal first. Like, realizing, like, it's just a normal part. It's not gonna change. Like, it's always gonna be an uncertain time. Like, I don't care how good the economy is, how bad the economy is, how many people you hire, like, whatever, you're always gonna have uncertainty.
Yep.
And so causing it or allowing it to cause your business to, like, freeze is not benefiting anyone.
Right.
It's not a signal to stop, is what I guess it's not a stop sign, right? Maybe it's a signal to adapt a little bit, if anything.
Yeah, and kind of maybe revisit the way you're doing certain things.
Right. Focus on what you control.
Right.
I always say it, right? I mean, how many times have you heard me say the two things we control here at ShopSabre? Attitude, effort. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, and that's the thing, is, like, you just got to focus on those things. And so I think, like, a real world example would be, steel costs when it, rises, like, it goes up 15%. You can't panic, right? You just got to prioritize maybe higher margin jobs. You have to adjust pricing, tactfully. You got to invest in automation systems that will help you reduce your waste, because now every square inch of that material matters.
Yep.
You just got to stay in touch with your margins and stay intact, and make sure your workflows are improved. And you're not just going to stop building something because it costs more.
Right. I mean, the work doesn't stop because of
Right.
that. Like, because then if you just stop and have no income, then the price of those things going up is going to cost you even more, right? Because they have no way to pay for it.
Right. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, is, like, your action versus random motion, right? Like, you have to have focused action, not just random motion,
Right.
to get through stuff. And, like, busy doesn't always equate to productiveness. We talked about that last week, right? It's about that focused, intentional action. And I think that's a big part of this whole, like, being uncertain is okay, but you still got to have, like, focused, intentional action during uncertain times. And that is creating a daily or a weekly structure for activities that are high impact, right? I think about like identifying, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the way to word, like identifying direct effects on or tasks that directly affect like your revenue and tasks that will make you more efficient. Like what can we improve on that will make us better? So even through uncertainty, like we know we're being more efficient. We know that we're wasting less material, people, hours, whatever, right?
Yep.
Without
prioritizing.
Yeah, without burning your customer satisfaction. Because I think that's the other thing is sometimes people cut corners trying to save a buck and then they hurt their customer satisfaction.
Sure. Yep. And then you have unhappy customers who then, I mean, we all know how that works. They can one negative comment can be spread to a lot of people real fast if somebody gets hesitant. You know what I mean? But that's what people do.
That's the reality of where we're at. Exactly. It's like you have to think about that because like client satisfaction is always important. But I think so many people they don't think about the customer's satisfaction as much as they worry about like their bottom line.
Right. I mean, if you don't have happy customers, you're not going to have returning customers.
The bottom line doesn't matter without the customer.
No, not at all.
So like, I think you got to like prioritize your stuff. You know, you got to, like I said, whether it's a stand-up or a planning meeting, you know, daily stand-up meeting where you just outline the top 3 priorities of the day, right? Or you block off time for problem solving, you know, not just reactive tasks, right?
When I think a lot of people, like we've talked about last week, a lot of people look at meetings as things they don't want to do, or like, but certain times you have to do, like you said, you have to have things that are, you know, talked about and prioritized so that you can be productive and keep things flowing in a positive way.
Yep. My favorite thing that I've had to learn over the years is automate and delegate. Those 2 things to me are on the list because there's a lot of low value tasks, and that doesn't make it low value to the company, but it's low value to the person.
Yep.
Right. It doesn't matter who does this task. You don't have to have your hand in everything. Like it's okay to be like, hey, Nick, I need you to send this email. Nick, I need you to help me do this. And like, it was the hardest. I mean, you remember even 3 years ago when you started, like I had to really like, are you sure to do, you're good to do that? You're like, dude, I got it. Like, shut up. Like how many times did you tell me? Like, just forget about it. I got it, you know? But it's just,
but also at the same time, it takes time for you to like have the trust in an employee to do that. Right.
Right.
I mean, somebody that comes into, I mean, not specifically to this business, but you hire somebody that has no idea what your product is.
Right.
So it's going to take some time naturally for them to learn those things or like learn the processes that you're teaching them to tell people what you're trying to tell them. Right.
Yep.
So of course, naturally it's going to take time for you to trust me to do those things. And
right.
It's just kind of a natural way of how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I think you got to earn some level of respect, right? You got to, like, we got to trust, I guess is the better word.
And especially like for ShopSabre specifically with the, you know, the high customer service level we're at, like you don't want something done incorrectly that will jeopardize that. I mean, it's simple to do, simple to do that type of thing and ruin a good thing.
If I'm honest, I think it's just because like selfishly, I don't have any extra time in the day. So it's like, if I don't just do it myself, I'm going to have to do it anyways. And then it's inconvenient. Like, I think that's what it was. Yeah. But like the thing that I think a lot of businesses struggle at the most is tracking their metrics, their KPIs. So for anybody who doesn't know what a KPI is, it's a key performance indicator. And using KPIs throughout your business is super important because whether it's your throughput or your lead times, your quality rating, whatever it is that you judge yourself on, every action is tied to a result. And that's how you really sustain growth, is because you have to know that you're doing stuff that is productive and it is working. And if it's not working, what can we do to adjust it and fix it?
As in, like, people just worry more about making sure everything gets done and don't worry about what happens to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're saying, right?
Right. I mean, exactly. Just getting work done is not always getting the right work done, right?
Especially if something's taking you 4 hours, that should take 2.
Right. Well, you think about
those
like
types of things. Like,
I think about like a small woodworking shop. You know, they implement weekly processes and systems, you know, because they don't have people. They don't have more people, so they have to be very efficient with the people they do have. And I've seen a lot of companies, an example, you know, we've talked about on the show, they add CNC automation. They implement it into a small company, and we've seen savings 25%, 50%, whatever, you know, like they increase productivity capacity simply because of the system, not because of adding staff or, you know.
Right. Well, and I mean, you automate your process of the CNC, you have less waste. Less stuff going, I mean, less product that you're purchasing at whatever price, and then, you know, only using 75% of it when you're cutting it by hand. But if you have the CNC you can use 95%.
Right.
Just throwing a random number out there.
Right.
First, right? But those things all add up.
Right. And I think the other thing is we talked about it last week's show is busy when focused builds momentum, right?
Yep.
And momentum breeds that confidence that the whole team needs, and confidence fuels decisive actions. And even when you're dealing with market uncertainty, having internal confidence builds more confidence. Like we've seen it here at ShopSabre a lot. Like when you hear from some businesses, I mean, I'll be honest, like I talk to a lot of people, and sometimes you talk to people and they're just so doom and gloom. Like, oh my God. Like, and I'm like, can you imagine that sediment in that building? Like, I don't want to work with that.
No,
like,
not at all.
Because you walk in here and like you hear people like, oh my gosh, this. And I'm like, we aren't seeing that. We're hearing the opposite, and like the positivity and what we're seeing internally doesn't match what this one person's saying, right?
Yep.
And so it just makes you realize that like the confidence in their business or their momentum in their business is not there.
Right.
But it's not going to change who we are, because like we hear from 10 other people that same day a completely different story.
Right.
So you can a lot of times judge a business's quality based on what you hear from the person describing their business.
100%. Like, you know that type of attitude is
right
pretty much throughout the whole thing, right?
Right.
I mean, you hear it. You can go in any, I don't know, any business and
right, 100%.
have the type of thing, but then we walk in the doors here and
Yep.
it's different. Like, I can say that confidently. Like,
Yep.
I've worked a lot of different places
Yeah.
through my 45 years of life. And it's like, you can tell a difference when you walk
Curtis
into a
didn't
good
like
place.
that, by the way.
What's that?
Curtis didn't like your
Which
history.
part? Why? Oh, yeah. Because I was trying to learn more things and better myself. And he's like, this guy sucks. He has too many different positions within the same building. Blah, blah, blah.
We had to take a jab at
Jeez.
Curtis there. We always make fun of Curtis because
For the record, he did not want to hire me.
Nick
Just saying,
Nick
Curtis.
didn't get Curtis's approval.
I'll give him a pass, though. He's
yeah.
a decent guy.
He was worried that you weren't committed.
He was just doing his job.
That's funny. I just had to take a shot at him. But to your point, like it's exactly that. Like you try to grow, you try to, like my thing is maintaining confidence, right? Amid the chaos, because there's always chaos, it's maintaining confidence. And confidence comes with that preparation you're doing. In those meetings, we talk about, having some level of communication internally.
Yep.
I think sharing knowledge, you said it earlier, like you're going to bring in somebody, they're not going to know how you do it. You have to give them that ability to learn it.
Right.
And past successes also need to be something I think you need to focus on.
Well, and you hired that person for a reason, right?
Hopefully.
Like, you didn't hire him just to waste your time with that person for 3 months and be like,
Yeah,
oh,
this guy looks like a cool guy to hang out with.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you bring in somebody and hire them, you need to be committed to teaching them and learning them and getting to the point where you can trust them to do those tasks and not micromanage them and look over their shoulder all the time.
I think that's exactly it. It's more or less they're so afraid to let go, you know, that they can't. But I think the other thing is like, I don't think enough businesses really look back at their success enough. Like, uncertain times and uncertainty tests your confidence without a doubt. And I think how you respond to that sets the tone for your entire team. And so going back to it, I think you got to stop trying to control everything, because you can only control certain things. And I think business owners have a hardest time with this because they're used to being in control. And when there's uncertain times and uncertainty in the world that they can't control, their control is to not do anything.
Yep.
To clam up, right? Your processes, your team, your customer's experience should be things you tap into in those moments. Because like a practical tip for me, like, is you need to obviously regularly review your financials. I think most business owners do that. You have to regularly review your projections and where you think you're going to be. And then again, going back to your KPIs, you have to have some sort of a level of measuring, right? You can't manage what you can't measure. And so like you have to, I think for me, and this is true for me, and I can't speak for everybody else, but I don't know about you either, Nick, but like for me, knowledge reduces my anxiety.
Absolutely. Like, would you want to think that half your team knows something, but then the other half doesn't? Like, everybody should be on the same page, right? And know the same thing, so that when something comes up, you can all have the answer. I
think just having like the understanding of what you're doing, where you're going, what you're doing, or how you got there. I think celebrating your small wins during uncertain times is more important than ever.
Sure.
It maintains morale, for one. I think it's, making sure that, to your point, staying transparent with your team. I think, I don't know, just to me, you have to be grounded in reality to some regards, right? Like, yeah, you're not going to win 100% of the time.
Right.
you need to have confidence that you're going to win 100% of the time, but be okay with the fact that sometimes being flat is winning.
Right. And you can't let that, I mean, you can't let one loss derail anything, right?
Right.
Like you just need to, like you said, have that confidence that, hey, we lost this one, but you know what? The next 10, we're going to win them all.
Right. And admittedly, sometimes you lose because it's what's meant to be, right? It's okay. And I think during your slow seasons, this is where people waste time because like when things slow down, people are like, oh, I can finally catch my breath, so I'm going to do nothing.
Yep.
And that's the wrong mentality. Like for us, I've always tried to, like when things slow down, we try to work on things that we didn't have time to work on.
I was going to say then you have time to figure out some of those things.
Right. And I think that's where like during slow seasons, as an example, a CNC shop, like when things slow down, I think it's important to have like weekly win reviews, right? Like where did we win and what caused us to win? You celebrate completed projects. If you just installed a new, set of cabinets, go celebrate that project and, process improvements. What can we do to make that process installation easier next time? Where did we have struggles? And I think the staff's going to remain motivated throughout slow times when they know that you're working on improvements, right?
Yep.
I think morale stays high because despite fewer new orders, maybe they see that you're building for growth, right? They see that more orders are going to come, and more likely they're going to take more pride in what they do. So it's going to help drive more business. We just saw something, I don't know if you saw this, but like Target just came out with a new policy. It's called the 10-4 or whatever, right?
Yeah. Smile at people.
Yeah. If they're within 10 feet of you, you have to smile. If they're within 4 feet of you, you have to ask them if they need anything. But they were talking about how smiling at people will cause people to spend more money in the store. And
it could be true.
I don't think it's wrong. Like people are laughing and making fun of them, but it's a genius plan because we live in a world where nobody wants to talk to people anymore. We live in a world where like everybody's grumpy and frowny faced all the time. So like if you come into a place or an environment where you're happy and you feel good about being there and people are nice and genuine, you're probably going to want to be in that place.
It's funny you say that because that was my number one thing when I was in the golf business.
Yep.
We had a lot of young kids that worked outside doing the carts and in the shop checking people in and whatever. Yep. And my thing was always to them, you guys are the first people see when they get here and the last person they see when they leave.
Right.
That's what's going to determine how their experience was here. Not anything that happened when they were playing golf. They don't care about how good or bad they played. Right. But if they're treated kindly when they get here and treated kindly when they leave, they're going to have a great impression of us no matter what happens when they leave.
Yeah, because I suck at golf. And I'll tell you what, I'm uncomfortable at a golf course.
Yep.
Like I get out of my car and I'm instantly like, everybody's looking at me because I'm terrible. But like I've done that. I've walked up to the clubhouse, right?
Yep,
That's the place where you pay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm terrible at golf. I walked up to it and I remember it. Like there's one course, I don't even know the name of the course, but I remember where it is. And I got out of my car and was walking up to pay for my round of golf. My buddies were already inside. And it was a younger kid and he walked up to me and was like, hey, he's like, can I help you with anything? Do you know where you're going? And I didn't. Admittedly, had no clue. I'm like, I appreciate that. I don't know where I'm. He's like, okay, go up those stairs, take a left. This is where you're going to go. And I go up, pay for it. And he's like, and then you'll walk out and then there'll be three directions we could have gone. He's like, the person at the counter will tell you where you should start. He's like, but it's just really easy. Go up the stairs. And like, at that moment, it took all the anxiety away because I'm like, I'm in an uncomfortable place.
And that applies to anywhere, right? Like, say you ever walk into a restaurant and like the people at the front desk are just like, you can tell that they hate their job and don't want to be there. And it's like, oh, this is going to be great. Right. And then when you leave, the same thing. Nobody says, thank you, have a nice night, whatever. Right. Like it's the little things that sometimes we just, I don't know, take for granted or assume is going to be there. And then when it doesn't happen, you're like, oh.
Because I think a lot of people are like, please don't talk to me. Please don't
like,
talk
hey,
to me.
the food was really, really good here, but the experience when I got here, when I left wasn't that great. I really want to come back.
Right.
It's the same type of thing that we're talking about.
Exactly. Because I think for talking about that is it's turning challenges that we face in this world into opportunities.
Yep. Because
every challenge, in my personal opinion, it hides an opportunity. I really believe that to be true. Like, it's gonna sound crazy, but even like rising material costs, right? It's time to reduce waste or optimize your process. Like, it's an opportunity to be better than you were. If the material was so cheap, you probably just didn't care if you threw it away.
Yep.
So you're being more thoughtful with your resources. When you deal with labor shortages, as an example, right? It helps people invest in things like automation. It helps people invest in training the existing employees to be able to do, things that they otherwise don't understand. When you're running into situations where uncertain demand might exist, it's diversifying your products, right? Being able to reach out to new markets or offering services you maybe didn't offer. I've seen a lot of cabinet shops over the years where we only build boxes. And then they buy a CNC machine, and then suddenly, well, you know what? Now we build doors and drawers, and they diversify their product line because, holy crap, I was already doing this stuff anyways. I might as well get more profit from it.
And like we talked about before, now they can be that person that says yes instead of no.
Correct.
And you can embrace those customers and bring them in instead of being like, oh, no, go down to Tommy's shop down the road and maybe he can do it for you.
And I think that's where like downtime, going back to where this started, is like when you have downtime, training your staff to do other things, like, in a CNC machine, teach them how to use the machine in other ways, rather than never teaching them, right? Even if it's months later, it allows you to learn how to use this equipment. So then even further down the line, months later than that, you can take on more complex jobs or higher paying jobs because you have more resources in the business that can support it.
And now this person doesn't feel just one dimensional, that they only do one thing. Now they have a broad list of things that they can do. Right.
Because, there's a whole rule that we have here that it's, you don't want to be the gatekeeper of information. We've talked about that many times. The gatekeeper makes you feel important. I know it all. They need me. The reality is you are the most invaluable person in the company.
Right.
And people don't realize that. Employees don't realize that. Like, as a business owner, the person who knows it all is the least valuable person in that company, even though they're valuable at the time. Because the problem is they can't train anybody else to do the job. They can't make sure the company is going to run safely if you get hit by that magical bus that drives around and apparently runs people over all the time. Right? Like everybody says, if you get hit by a bus, well, I don't know what bus is driving around mowing people over, but that bus should not be able to hamper a business. And if it can, that means the business is set up inappropriately.
Absolutely.
So we've all learned from it. We all have those moments. Like, there are people within every organization that are very important to the organization. But to me, being the gatekeeper of information alone is a bigger risk than it is a reward.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
And so that's where I think, you need to be able to be one of those shops that invest in your people and, teach them how to do it, cross-train things. Whether it's investing in practical tools, right? To avoid unexpected downtimes, right? Again, going back to it, if you have one person that does all your cutting in your shop and you trust them, well, you have to be able to grow. So having equipment that can do it and be as accurate is probably more valuable to the business, right? It's fewer lost hours if somebody's out sick. It's happier customers because, Ron was out today, so everything was cut wrong, so now the customers are pissed, right?
Yep. So, hey, instead of being here tomorrow, we'll be here next week because we got to redo the whole thing.
Right, exactly.
So then, Deborah down the road that hasn't had her kitchen for 6 months has to go another week because you didn't have somebody there to do it,
Correct. Now that's where I think opportunities are often disguised as problems. And I think a proactive mindset turns those disruptions into competitive advantages. And that's where businesses really thrive. So again, during uncertain times, it's finding the uncertainty and figuring out what can we do to make this a positive impact on our business. And I think that's where the role of technology and systems come into play, because automation, predictive tools, workflow systems, they all reduce stress during uncertain times. They allow you to be more efficient. CNC software is a huge part of it, right? Like, you think about design softwares and you think about, some people use, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Monday.com. It's a project management software. But some people will use that for a scheduling tool, right? And there's ERP systems out there for, your inventory tracking systems and, providing visibility and how many parts do I have? Do I need to order more? So it's not like, hey, Steve, I used the last hinge. We need 10 more.
I just always think back to when you say that you guys used to keep track of where machines and stuff were on a whiteboard.
It was so dumb.
And not on the computer system we have now. I can't even imagine somebody calling up and be like, oh, hey, give me 15 minutes and let me call you back.
I'd run out to the shop floor.
Now I can just search their job number. And
I'd run out to the shop floor and look at they have the checkbox next to paint. There's checkbox. I did. That's how I did my job. Crazy.
Amazing. But that's one of those things we talked about, embrace technology and advance yourself forward, right?
Reacting to facts, right? Yep. You're reacting to real things, not fear. That's the other thing. Oh my God, did somebody erase that, or did we really not do that yet? You just don't know. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of examples of that in business, whether it's nesting software for cabinet shops where their utilization goes through the roof, I think, when you look at a lot of stuff here, it's really about integrating automation systems, and it's really about being able to do more. So I don't know, like for me, it's about your leadership and your team and your talking points. Like how do you talk to your team during uncertain times, right? I think you have to think about like confidence is going to trickle down, right? It's something that's going to happen. And if you don't talk to your employees with that confidence, they're not going to have confidence.
For sure. And I think you just have to remind them that we've all been through adversity before, right? And we came out on the other side fine. Like this is just another time of adversity and we'll get through it and, work our way back to where we were. I mean, it's not like it's something that's just going to sink you forever.
100%. Like, I think that's a big thing with what we work on here and what we do as a business is it's really about talking to each individual department about our concerns and where we're at and having shared feedback, right? You got to share that back and forth with your departments. And, sometimes your departments aren't very big, right? I mean, you might be a 3-man shop, right? Yep. You don't have departments, you have people. It's just making sure that everybody's on the same page and making sure every single person is working towards the same goals. And during uncertain times, like sometimes they just need to know there is a goal.
Right. But yeah, I mean, heck, if you have a 3-person shop and all 3 guys are working in 3 different directions,
right?
Where's that going to get you?
I feel like
not anywhere very fast.
Yeah, I feel like when you're a smaller shop, admittedly, it's more important
Absolutely.
than ever because the reality of where you're at when you deal with like communication, I think that's where like, I don't know, for me, bad communication spirals in smaller environments.
100%.
Because like,
I mean, it takes that much less time to get from one side of the circle to the other, right?
But I guess I'm trying to think my way through that because is that true? Because in a small environment, if I say something, it's going to get it back to you a lot sooner.
Yep.
Where in a big environment, if I say something, it may never make it to you.
That's true.
So is that true then? I guess as I think my way through it, like bad communication gets to everybody faster. Let's put it that way, right? Yeah. Like if I say the wrong thing, we're all going to do the wrong thing. So I think like in a bigger environment, there's more checks and balances maybe. So if I say the wrong thing, like you're going to be like, Brandon, that's not right.
Right.
Guys, let's not do that.
No.
Like, let's check the system, right?
Check and make sure that's
we're in a small work environment. You're like, hey, that's got to be 36 inches wide. Okay, let's cut it to 36 inches wide. Everybody cuts it 30. Oh, crap. It's supposed to be bigger. Like, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So I guess I don't know that I can say that. Like, I think communication, it has to come from the leadership, right? The leadership sets the tone. And so regardless of your size of your business, whether you're big, small, medium, whatever, having leadership that is confident never changes in importance.
No, absolutely not. I mean, everybody under that leadership is going to take on the same mentality.
Right.
I mean, if you have a positive leadership group, I mean, it's just naturally going to grow a positive culture within your company.
Do you think that's why like football coaches get fired or, hockey coaches get fired when the team's losing? Do you think that's why? It's not about the fact that the coach actually is doing something wrong?
I mean, I think it's just they're the easy scapegoat.
That's what I'm questioning.
You can't fire the team.
Well, that's my point.
Then you have nothing.
Yeah, so that's my question is like, so like in your business, is that why leadership's so important? Because the right leader sets the tone?
Absolutely. But at the same time, like, I don't know.
If the team doesn't execute, the leader's the easy call out? I don't know. Like, what I'm saying?
I think it's a little bit different in business than sports though.
Right. Maybe.
Because I mean, in business, I guess it's not easy to fire people and find a good replacement, but at the same time,
our camera just did something weird. I gotta fix it. Keep going. I'm still listening.
Okay. Well, no, I just think that in sports, the coach is always the easy target simply because they are the ones that people believe are controlling how the players play. Which to a certain degree, I guess that's correct.
I'm back.
But at the same time, I feel like if you have somebody that's supposed to be a superstar player that's, performing as an above average player, and you have so much money invested in that superstar player that you can't put enough other above average players around him, whose fault is that? Is that the coach's fault, or is that?
But that's where I think like even in business, it's the same way, right? Like I think no matter what, the confidence trickles down from your leadership team, right?
Sure.
Your team watches how you respond to uncertainty. And that's where I think, like, especially when teams are struggling, losing football teams, hockey teams, businesses.
Well, do you think
it starts with the communication at the top, I feel like.
Sure. And I feel like in business, you obviously have leadership that'll talk to employees when things aren't going right?
Right.
Do you think in sports, does an owner or general manager talk to the players behind the scenes to see what they think of the coach? Or what?
I do.
And just you never really, I guess you never really hear about it, right?
I think like the biggest thing is about that clear communication, sharing your goals and structuring your processes to keep everyone aligned. And the other side of it, I think, is the flip side of it is investing in your people during uncertain times.
Sure.
It's going to pay dividends, right? Like, so sending an employee to training or, helping them add new skills that they maybe didn't have because you have the time to now train them, or
it's
coaching them.
It's going to show them that you're invested in them and their success.
And I think the biggest thing is like coaching them towards their strengths, right? And understanding where their weaknesses are so they can improve helps you feel more confident in the person you're working with or alongside, right? And I think that's where like a lot of shops during slowdowns, they fail to do that. They don't hold a weekly meeting. They don't try to keep morale up. They don't try to work on efficiency improvements, right? They clam up, they stop, they freeze. We talked about that. Like they just do things that do the opposite. It unmotivates an employee because they're cutting back and they're not doing, like, I get it. You can't just spend money to spend money, right?
Sure.
Like money is not there. You can't spend it. But there are things you can do that are financially free, that are mindset driven, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's about helping your business and your employees thrive and embrace, whatever's coming down the road, right? And it's, I don't know, like confidence doesn't have to be blind, right? Doesn't have to be a blind optimism, right? It's trusting that your processes and your experiences are going to get you through whatever you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
And I think busyness, when channeled into productivity, is truly growth. It's growth oriented tasks, right? And I think that's the biggest thing is when there's uncertain times. Oh man, are we going to stay this busy? Like you can't have that attitude. Like you got to keep moving forward despite what external chaos exists, right? Just keep doing the job. It's kind of that mentality on a sports team. That's why I brought sports up, is like that next man mentality, right? Like, oh, quarterback goes down. Well, we're going to pack in the season. We're done.
Right.
Right. Like, no, we got to keep going. Like, and I think that's where you have to be focused on what you can control and invest in your business when you can, and your people when you can, and your systems when you can. And then when you can't, what you have invested in, reinforce that, right? Like talk about the things that you do have going for you. And I think the biggest thing is uncertainty is always temporary, right?
Absolutely.
But like the skills you learn or know, or the processes you developed, or the confidence you have builds something that lasts a lot.
It'll be temporary as long as you have the right attitude going into it.
Right.
Like if you have the confidence that we were just talking about,
it's always temporary. You can only be uncertain for so long before you're certain that you're not going to do something.
Sure. But so it's either you make it temporary by having the confidence to get through it, or you give up.
Yep.
So just have the confidence that you're going to get through it like you had before.
Well, the thing is, uncertainty is always going to exist.
Sure.
Like, it's just what form does it exist in?
But you can't just make it seem like the uncertainty is going to last forever.
Right. Well, that's my thing is like, okay, if you're uncertain about the economy, are you uncertain that it's too good, or are you uncertain that it's too bad? Either way, you're going to be uncertain, right? Like, it's just depending on what the economy's doing. It's which uncertainty are you uncertain about, right? Yep. And then, I don't know, you have to start to think your way through that. And I think, just for me, shops that are going to embrace the uncertainty with preparation and intentional acts are always going to survive. Like, I think they'll just thrive in those environments because they're going to find something to grow with.
Absolutely. Definitely.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So, I don't know. To me, I want to jump into motivational quote because this episode's kind of getting long on us, and I apologize. I could ramble forever on this, but the motivational quote fits in line with that because it's harder to grow the person than it is to grow the business. And I say that because it was told to me a long time ago that when you think about growing your business, like a lot of people, the concept of growing their business is the hard part. But the reality is like growing who you are as the person so that your business can reach that's a lot harder.
Absolutely.
Like understanding your failures, understanding your weaknesses. I mean, when I was in my 20s, I was all full of all kinds of everything. And I didn't believe that I would ever hold something back, right? Now that I'm in my late 30s, I'm like, okay, I hold the business back in a lot of ways if I don't get better in this, or if I don't trust this, or if I don't build this system. Like, I can be the problem if I don't mature with the business.
For sure.
And so it's like, that's what it is. So it's harder to grow you as a person, whether you're an employee, a leader, whatever it is, than it is to grow the business. Like, the business will grow if you just do the right things.
I like it.
So
it's good.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, I think, not to keep rambling, but I do think like sports and business do align a lot. And I think that's why you find a lot of people who are in management roles or in leadership roles often come from some level of competitive, nature when they were younger, whether it's they were in debate or they were in football, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
you got to have that drive to win.
That competitive nature, right? It comes from that because it's building those skills like leadership. It's building the skills about being able to persevere through challenges, and uncertainty is always a given, but you're not going to let it hold you back.
Right.
And I think like when you naturally like always hide from uncertainty, like it's going to stunt your growth. Maybe that's why I'm so short.
Perhaps.
Hid from uncertainty.
You could grow your hair out and comb it straight up and you'd be a lot taller too.
I don't have any hair up
have
here.
Have a mohawk?
That's the problem.
Be like 6 inches taller with a sweet mohawk.
It'd be back here.
That'd be kind of sweet.
I'd have like a really long hair, but just no hair on top.
Like a horse mane coming out the back of your head.
Horse mane. Oh, that's terrible. Okay. Well, anyways, this episode got long enough. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Obviously, sorry this episode got kind of long there, but obviously you've been listening to Talkin' Shop. Until next time, I hope you guys keep building, keep learning, keep moving forward. I think no matter what this market throws at us, throws at you, we're all going to keep going. At the end of the day, we have to keep going. Unless you plan on closing your business, you just got to keep doing it. So stay motivated, stay confident. We'll bring you another episode next week. And with that, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Nick.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Talkin' Shop with ShopSabre.